On Caleb's basketball pod. Playoff games in the second round, and it's going to be much of the same in the conference finals. Just giving an update. I'm spreading out a little bit on between the days of when I'm recording, just so I can get more in, because if you record every other day or something like that, you're talking about one game or this or that, but I want to be able to talk about multiple games and multiple things going on right now. I also want to start off by saying this. We're going to go into talking about eliminated teams a lot more in depth, especially coming up in the conference finals. I'm going to do an off-season forecast episode because it's going to be like only so many games a week, and there's only going to be two different games going on. Two different series, and you have one game probably each day. So besides talking about that, I want to do an off-season forecast for all the teams that have been eliminated in the playoffs. We'll start with the first round eliminated teams, then the second round eliminated teams. Now, with all of that said, let's talk about what's happened since Monday. Since Monday, we've had a lot going on in the NBA. One thing is we saw on Tuesday the Indiana Pacers finish off the series and eliminate Cleveland. I want to talk about that. And again, we'll get more into Cleveland when we talk about the off-season forecast and we get to that. But I want to talk about and start by just talking about how good Indiana played. Everybody said, and a lot of people, and I was one of them, said it was a fluke last year when they made it to the conference finals. It was injuries, it was this or that. You could say that this time. Yes, Dame got injured. Yes, guys missed a game 2 in Cleveland that, in hindsight, they possibly could have played, knowing that all of them played the very next game in the rest of the series. With that said, Indiana changed their style of basketball. A lot different than what we saw in the regular season. Somewhat similar, but a lot of the full court, the physicality. All of that was done, and it threw Cleveland off of their game. It has people saying Cleveland's soft, and there's a possibility that they, and I do believe, and we'll talk about that again more in the off-season forecast, Cleveland needs to strengthen up, toughen up. But a lot of just for credit in general goes to Indiana. Amazing basketball they played. They just came out, they had a game plan. They stuck to the game plan. Part of the game plan we saw them keeping the bigs, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen away from the basket. With the 5 out, the switches, and then once they got the mismatch in the switch, we saw Strus, DeAndre Hunter, different smaller players defending Miles Turner at that point, and we saw Miles Turner cook. He had an amazing series, and we just saw like Tyrese Halliburton, people saying he's overrated. He's showing, hey, I'm one of the young guys that can lead my team to the conference finals 2 straight seasons. Say what you want, that's not overrated. That is maybe underrated and not weighted exactly where he should be. But amazing, just great series from the Indiana Pacers. Losing one game to the top seed and giving a gentleman's sweep to the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. That won 64 games. Very impressive, I might add. Another team that we saw go home was the Golden State Warriors at the hands of the Minnesota Timberwolves. And to be honest, I knew this series was over when Anthony Edwards said to Gary Payton Jr. that you're just hoping you get back to Game 6 for Wardell, talking about Stephen Curry, and Gary Payton Jr. laughed. I knew that was a mindset, that was a mind game. You got in the head of the Golden State Warriors and you knew you were there. And you know that they're trying to play to not lose, not to win. They're playing to not lose too many games so Steph can get back, instead of playing to win this series with or without Steph. And I think that was a mind game, and I think it gave the Wolves confidence, saying, hey, they're just trying not lose. We go out and we beat them, and then there's no way that they don't end up losing. So in my opinion, I thought that was great by Anthony Edwards, and Gary Payton Jr. should have answered it as in, it doesn't matter, we're going to beat you. You have to show confidence, but when you're just like laughing you off, dude, that showed me all I need to see. That's weakness. And the Wolves preyed on that. Anthony Edwards preyed on that. Julius Randle, amazing series. And Jimmy Butler underperformed, but without a lot to shooting around him, I don't think anyone ever expected he was going to drop 40 or 50 and carry Golden State to wins and all of that. He's had a up and down season with injuries, not playing for a bit when he was with Miami because he was going to be traded. I don't even know if he was really in his best shape as he possibly could have been. But it's where we're at right now, and where we're at. And again, I'll go into it more in detail on the offseason forecast episode. But Golden State, I really do think they need to change something up if they really want to win. I think you're good enough to make the playoffs. I don't think you're good enough to win a championship with that team. And the same may be said for Cleveland. And again, we'll talk about those. But it's not about the teams that got eliminated. It's about the teams moving on. We know the Pacers on the Eastern Conference Finals. We know the Minnesota Timberwolves on the Western Conference Finals. Now we get to who will they play. On the east side of things, we have Game 6 tonight in New York. New York Knicks, Boston Celtics. We unfortunately saw Jason Tatum rupture his Achilles. We pretty much figured that was what happened. But it was confirmed. He already had surgery. They say 8 to 9 months. We're wishing him the best and a speedy recovery. Praying for Jason Tatum. Amazing season. And I hope he comes back full strength and it's like he never left. But with that said, after that, we saw the Boston Celtics dominate the game in Boston. Somehow Jalen Brunson had 5 fouls in one quarter. I don't know about that. But the other thing is just, if you're the Knicks, you can't underestimate the Celtics team. You have to attack them. You have to play aggressive, just as if you did when Tatum was there. If anything, it seems to me like there's more fire now that he's out because people are saying the Celtics are most definitely done. This is a team of champions, so even everybody on that roster, hearing everybody be like, oh, we're most definitely done? What are you saying? And I think it's putting the fire under them. We saw an amazing game, 8 3-pointers from Derek White. Drew Holiday's a multiple-time NBA champion. Kristaps Porzingis didn't really play much in the last game because he was having a difficulty breathing, so we hope he's doing well on that. But Jaylen Brown is still a top 15-20 player in the NBA. Derek White, amazing player. You want to have him on a championship team because of everything he does. So if I'm the Knicks, you can't underestimate these teams. Knicks have come out for aggression. You have to destroy them. Make them believe that they need Tatum to beat you, despite the fact that they showed they don't. You have to make them believe they do. And at that point, you win the mental war in this series, and you can dominate it. And I think the Knicks need to come out aggressive and end the series in 6. You never know what happens in 7, but especially a Game 7 in Boston Garden, that would be a huge game. And to be honest, if the Knicks don't put them away in 6 tonight, I would predict the Celtics win in 7. My current prediction is the Knicks finish them in Game 6 because you have to come out with some type of aggressiveness. You have to know that you have these guys on the ropes. Let's hit that knockout blow. I believe the Knicks are going to come straight out for that. If you're the Celtics, you want to survive that knockout blow. Just be in it. Be in it towards the end of the game. Still one in New York. If it goes back Boston, anything's possible. Other series, Western Conference series. We saw Denver force a Game 7 after Oklahoma went up 3-2. We saw that just last night. Heck of a game from Jamal Murray with an illness. Christian Braun had a great game. Nikola Jokic, great game. And just some really good basketball being played by Denver. We've seen them in this situation before, do or die. We saw them in a Game 7 against the Clippers. They dominated. This is a lot of pressure for an Oklahoma Thunder team. We saw Jalen Williams struggle with a closeout game yesterday. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he did his part last night. We saw Jalen Williams and other guys struggle. So you have to wonder, does the pressure get to the younger players? But at that same point, you have to wonder, you beat them once. Can you do it again when you're facing elimination if you're Denver? I keep saying it, I think whoever really, really steps up and takes control of Jokic and SGA is going to win this series, especially in the Game 7. Your best players come through in the clutch in those moments. So I'm predicting whoever steps up in that, and to be honest, a Game 7, Thunder's a younger team, I'm predicting Denver in 7. I thought if Oklahoma ends in 6, Oklahoma wins the series. But Game 7, a lot of pressure. Multiple guys on that Nuggets team are former NBA champions. They're used to that pressure. I'm going with Denver Nuggets in 7. And we'll see that game on Sunday. And we'll possibly see a Game 7 New York and Boston. It'll be interesting to see. Stay tuned and we'll get back to you guys and talk more about what happened over tonight, over the week in Game 7. And we'll preview our upcoming conference finals matchups on Monday. Thank you guys for watching.